So today we are creating a matrix. We've looked at vectors, we looked at lists, we looked at data frame, and today we are going to look at matrix and array. Alright, so quickly, my screen is already shared. I think I should use this format today. This looks really better. So if you check here, we were here, and then we quickly move. We are now moving toward matrix. You should know that in matrix you have your data, you have your n row, your n column, and by row, and then the dimension names. So what this means is you use this function called matrix, be able to, and then this will be where your data is, the number of rows you want, the number of columns you want, and by row means do you want arrow to obey the syntax you are given, or arrow can choose different rows and different columns for you. So that's basically what this is doing here. And then if you want to have dimension names, then you can add it to it. So let's go ahead. So the description of all of them are here, but let's go to the studio and see how this works. Okay, so I'm just going to do this, and then I'll call it creation of matrix. So let me call this my that's my matrix, that's the variable name. So I just come here, and then what do you use? We use the function matrix. You can see matrix already comes, and the syntax also appear in this particular format. As you see, the data is here, the n row, the n column, by row, first, dimension, null, and then whatsoever. So we follow the syntax. So the first entry is going to be the data. If you want, you could have created your vector sitting somewhere and then you use it. But because I don't have, I'm just going to say that I want to create, my data is going to be from 1 to let's say 15, and then I want to say that my n row, you see that the n row actually comes. How many rows do I want? Let's say I want 5 rows, and then my n column, and then how many columns do I want? In this case, I don't have a choice. The column will have to be 3. You know why? In matrix data, the data points you have here, the multiple of the n rows and the n columns will give you the exact data points you have there. So we have 15. So 3 by 15, 3 by 5 will give you 15, and that is it. So we have the next thing, which we call by row. The by row here means if you say true, it means that it will go by the syntax I have given. If I say false, it can choose a different syntax. So I'm going to say true. I've not created any dimension name, so I'll leave it here, and then I'll run it. So the matrix has been created, and so if I print it now, you can see that I have the matrix which is here. Alright, so that's the matrix. This is how we create matrix. So how many columns? 3. How many rows? 5. Now let me also say that we can also create a vector somewhere, and then we bring it. So let's assume that I have a vector here. I have a vector. You can give it any name you want, and then I'm going to create a vector of, let's say, using let's say a sample. And then what am I sampling from? I am sampling from I'm sampling from like 100 data. What do you want? My population is 100, and then I'm sampling just 50 of them, and then I'm saying that I want my replacement to, because I want some of them to be replacement to be true. So it means that I can sample some of them like twice. So if I do that, it runs properly. So I'm now going to use this particular vector I've created to create my matrix. So I'm going to call this matrix 2, and so that's going to be my matrix 2. And then I'm just going to come here. And so anytime you are creating matrix using the matrix function, so this is going to come. So in this case, the data is already created, which is here. And remember here we have how many? So you see that we have 50 data points already seated. So when we come here, I'll just put that place vets, and then I'll come here and say my n row, number of rows. Let's say I want the number of rows to be 10, and then my number of columns definitely will be 5. Okay, always the number of rows and columns should, the product should give you whatever that you are doing. So I have my end call that is equals to number of columns should be equals to 5. And then of course my by row, like I've already explained, the by row is equal to simply true. Just follow the syntax. So if I run that, it runs properly. So if I print this, you're going to see that I've created my matrix of this and then that. So this is the number of columns, this is the number of rows, and that's how it is. Let me tell you that one of the places where we use matrix data is when you want to calculate correlation. You want to do association analysis. You can't do it with any form of data. The data will have to be in a matrix form. The third way to create a matrix is, let's say this is my matrix 3. Let's say I have a data frame already, like the data frame I created yesterday, which was students here. Let me run it and see if it is still there. Yeah. So I have my data frame there, which is seated here, which is students. So I can see create a matrix out of it. And so how am I going to do that? I'm just going to come here. So that's my matrix 3, and I'll come here, and in this case, because it's already in a different format, and I'm transforming it to another format, you don't have to use the matrix function alone. So I'll use something called as matrix. So you see that I am changing something into a matrix. What is it? I am changing a data frame. So you put the name of the data frame inside here. So, and the data frame name is underscore students, which is already there. So I'm simply saying that take this data frame and convert it into a data matrix. And when I run this, it will be converted and then it will be here. So when you print this out, it will no longer be a data frame, but it will be what? A matrix data. So like the correlation and the heat map that you are seeing, you cannot be able to do any kind of correlation analysis without this basic what I think called matrix. So this is how we are able to create matrix, and then it's the same way we are able to, you can convert any other data from data frame to a matrix, and then in that order. We are using this function called as matrix, like I've demonstrated. Now let's go ahead and then look at how do we create an array. So we're looking at creation of data arrays. And now I've already put up so we come here and then let's look at something. These are the matrices too. Now these are arrays. So you have the function for creating an array is an array. So you have your data, you have your dimension, or you have your dimension names. Okay? So come and look at something here. So I have my array, I've created it, this is my data, this will represent my data. And the dimensions, I need to be able to indicate the number of columns, the number of rows, and then whether I want it to be 2 by 2. Okay, so that will be my dimensions. Okay, now let's get back to RStudio and I will. So I'm going to create an array here. So I'm going to call that array 1. And then I'll just come there and then and then I'm going to use the function called array. So array should come. So first of all, I need to create the data. So I don't have the data, so I'm just going to say 1 is to 15. Then when I come out of it, the next thing to do is to bring in dimensions. So the dimension, you just use a vector to create that, and then the vector, you are simply, the first one is the rows. So in this case, I am looking for how many rows. I want 3 rows, and then let's say I want 5 rows. Then I want how many columns? 3 columns, and then I want it to be how many times do I want it to appear? I want it to appear twice. Okay, so I want it to appear twice. Let me show you something here. You see that I have 1 here, another one there, another one here, another one here. So I have 2, and then I have another 2. So let me get back to RStudio and then just demonstrate. So I have 2, and let me put another 2 there, and then run it. let's see what happens here. So the array has been created. Let's print the array 1 and see what is happening. If I come and highlight on that and I print array 1, so when you fold this up, how many do you see? You see I have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now let me go back and explain the code. Let me explain the code for you to see something. So here I've created my vector, which is here. I've created my, and then this dimension tells me that how do I want the array to look like. I want an array, and each of them is a matrix. Array is just a repetition of matrix. So you see that from here, the rows, the columns is simply telling you that these are the number of rows, the number of columns, like in the name of like or just like in matrix. Now this last 2, 2, it tells me that I want it to be 2 by 2 array. So it will appear like 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how it is. So if I had changed, that's how we're able to create an array. And then I'm just going to copy here, and then I'll just paste another one here, and then I'm going to call this, I'm going to do that one 3, and then change this to 2. That's my array 2. Then run that one again, and then you see. Now if I print array 2, you will see that there's complete difference. You see that now that one will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So that's how we're able to create an array, and then it's very simple like that. Now in both array and then matrix, you can also create it using, let's say, characters, like or the characters or something like that. So let's say I want an array of characters. Okay, so let me call that array 3, and then I'm just going to say I'll use the function array, and then at the data place I'm going to create a vector. I'm going to create a vector there, and that particular vector is where my characters are. So I'm going to say my name, come out of it, and then create somebody's name too, and then you come out and create another person's name, come out, and then I could try and see what if I can create another person's name on Max. Okay, so this is where I have created this 1, 2, 3, 4. That is going to form my data, and then I'm going to say my dimensions is going to be C, and then I'm going to put here 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and then try and see if I run it. Now when I finished, you are going to see this. Let me see how the names appear. I have like this and this and that, that and that, and that and that, and then whatsoever. So what have I done here? What I have done is I'm creating an array of characters, of people names. This is my name. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the number of rows and columns is always a multiple of the data points here. Here our data points are 4. There are only 4. Let's assume if we had like 6 or 7 or so many names, that we'll put them here. And then you come and give your dimensions and to print the array for you. It's that very simple. And that's how we're able to create an array of characters. You can use the same thing to create that of matrix, and then you can also have your matrix of characters. But this is how we're able to create arrays, and then this is how we're able to create matrix. It's very simple and it's not too difficult. I hope you have learned something. The videos these days, I don't do the long videos. I do very short ones for you to be able to pick up. Just practice it. You can try as much as possible. You can include a lot of things there. Of course, I don't know if I needed to give the next time I will try and put and add how to be able to name your matrix and how to be able to name your rows. You can have like the department 1, department 2, department 3. You can have array 1, array 2, array 3. As you see them here, if you look at this place, you can see that when I print it, what you see is, you see here, I'll replace this particular thing here with a name, so you know what name it represents. And then this is 1 by 1, this is 2 by 1, and then 1 by 2, and in that order. So yeah, we just replace it with a name, and then that's where you will see how we are able to use the list function to be able to do this. Watch us for the next video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.